Alright guys, let's talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum on the channel today. There's not going to be any altcoins in this video, unfortunately. There's just nothing really pumping today of interest. And yeah, we need to see what's happening here. Now, with Bitcoin, we are pushing up against this resistance at 109, pretty much flat. And we have retested that, and we've also retested this daily resistance here at 109,454. And gotten a rejection today. Now, we did close the weekly candle yesterday below this point, unfortunately, here at 109. And we are trying to get back above that. Now, we need to seal a candle from Sunday to Monday next weekend over this line. That would be a little bit more bullish, in my opinion. Now, if we go back to the daily time frame, at the moment, we do have a bullish engulfing candle from yesterday. Now keep in mind, it was the weekend yesterday, and this green candle was also the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. But today is actually Labor Day in the U.S., so there's not much trading going on, period. So I think tomorrow we're probably going to see a little bit more of a push to the upside. And the reason for that, I'm going to show you in a few minutes, guys. Before we jump into that, I need to go ahead and say we do have a sponsor for today's video, guys. It is MEXC. There's a $1,200 futures bonus giveaway. I invite you, just simply get your mobile, pause the screen, scan this QR code, and you can get a free $30 USDT futures bonus each. Now, looking back at the CME futures chart, guys, there is still that gap above us, $2,625, still lurking. Now, we did not create a CME gap this week. It was already filled. And yeah, this is still a pretty sizable gap above us. So that's actually a good thing. It's pretty bullish for Bitcoin because they do tend to fill these gaps. Now, last week we didn't fill it, so it's going to take maybe a little bit longer. But guys, if you remember the gap that we had several months ago, maybe more than half a year actually, it was down around $73, I think, $1,000. We went up to all-time highs, guys, but we still came back to fill that gap. So I do think this gap will get filled, probably this week, depending on the economic data coming out. Now, here's a chart I haven't shown before on the channel. This is whale orders and large trades. Now, we do have an area back here and back here where there's a lot of sales, but we're starting to see a lot of buy orders since the 30th, basically, of August. So that's a good sign. I do believe these whales still are bullish on Bitcoin, and that's why we're seeing a little bit more green down here than red. Now, this is interesting. What is your current BTC sentiment? Now, if we look at very bullish, it's 21%. Bullish is 17%. Now, neutral, 32%. If we just take this out or we divide it in half, the bullish outweighs the bearish still. Now, what's interesting, if we go down to this chart here, we still have more shorts than long. So only KuCoin and a few others are kind of some outliers here, like Bybit, MEXC, but the majority are shorting. So that's interesting when you see that, you know, majority of BTC sentiment here is bullish, but we're seeing a lot of shorts. Ethereum, on the other hand, guys, is not having a good day. While BTC is actually a little bit positive still, if we go to Ethereum, it is having a bad day. It is losing support, and we're sitting at 43.25. However, you know, as long as we really stay above about 4,000, let's say $70, we're still okay. We're still trending up. Again, if we look at this in the long term, you know, just go back and let's do this. This is a higher low. Here's a higher low. Is this the next higher low? Probably so, guys. So if we just zoom out a little bit, you see that this is still bullish. You know, Ethereum went up so much recently, and it's just really having a consolidation, in my opinion, here. Looking at the total market cap excluding Bitcoin, we do have some good news here. We did seal the monthly candle above 1.51 trillion. So this is evidence that we are still moving up. I mean, you can see that the last monthly candle before that actually failed to get above 1.43 trillion. Now, we got above that, and we got above 1.51 trillion. So this is a good sign. It may come down and retest this before it goes back up, but 1.62 trillion we need to get above on a weekly time frame. Then we have one more resistance here at 1.71 trillion, and then we're back off to the races. Now, unfortunately, our Bitcoin dominance is going up here, and we need to look at this really on a weekly time frame. I do need to show you this. It did fail to seal a weekly candle despite getting all the way up to about 58.8% last week. It came back down, retested both of these lines, and failed to seal a candle above it. Now, how far is this candle going to go? Maybe it retests it again. I don't think it's going to hold very long, guys. I do think it will fail eventually. This is only Monday. There's still 6 days and 7 hours to go on this candle. Now, comparing Bitcoin with Ethereum in the quarterly returns here, Bitcoin is still up 31% in the last 2 quarters. It's a little bit flat in Q3. We still have to get through September, unfortunately, and September is not really a good month. Now, Q4 is usually the best month, but if we look at Ethereum, it's still about 110% up in the last 2 quarters. So, still, it's not that bad, guys. Now, if we go down to the monthly returns, like I said, September usually isn't that good. We do have the period from 2022 all the way down to 2017 that was red. And the average return in September is minus 3.44%. So I do think if we look at this real quick, that is the lowest. Yeah, we do have one other minus here. That is for June. But this is a pretty negative month, but right now we are slightly positive, so that's a good sign. If we look at the liquidation heat map in this view, guys, there's not really any liquidity above or below us. There's a little bit, but it's not too much. So it's really nothing to look at on this chart, honestly. Now, if we look at the liquidation heat map like this, only 343 million have been wrecked in the last 24 hours. That actually is pretty tame, slightly elevated, I would say, but not too bad. We are unfortunately in fear right now. We have a 46 on the fear and greed. Yesterday was a 48, so we did cool down slightly. Next update in 6.5 hours. Now, altcoin season index is a 61. Let me refresh this and just see if this goes down. Yeah, it's still actually staying the same as yesterday, so I'm not sure when this will update. I do expect that this will cool down, though. Here is our ray of hope, though, guys. 0 from 30 indicators are still hit. Don't panic. Now, the best indicator, in my opinion, like I'm always saying every video, I want to get vulgar here, but I'm not. The Pi Cycle Top indicator is probably the best indicator, in my opinion. And guys, it is still far from crossing, but it does tell you it's about 57% of the way through to cross, I guess. So, the progress here, you can see most of these indicators, the progress is not too far along. Some of these are in the 80s or, something like that, but still, some of these indicators are not good indicators in my opinion, too. As for the economic calendar, today was Labor Day, so there's nothing going on today. Tuesday, tomorrow, we have global manufacturing PMI. We got some ISM numbers, Atlanta Fed GDP now Q3. Wednesday, factory orders, JOLTS job openings. We do have one FOMC member speaking. Thursday, ADP non-farm employment change, jobless claims. We also have some PMI numbers, ISM numbers. We have Williams speaking, Atlanta Fed GDP now Q3. I'm not sure why that is always coming up. But anyways, Friday we have average hourly earnings, non-farm payrolls. This is probably the most important data from this week. Now, private non-farm payrolls also is coming out, unemployment rate, and that's it. But that's a lot going on this week when it comes to economic data. Looking at our Moodyx dashboard here, we do have a slightly positive day. Now, keep in mind, the week just started technically, so and as well as the month. So everything here is green. But yeah, it is the first day of the month. But the sentiment is still risk on, and the trend is growing. That's what we want to see. According to FedWatch Tools, we have about a 90% chance now of getting that quarter point cut. However, like I said, there's a lot of economic data, plus there's still a CPI and PPI coming out before this meeting in about 16 days, almost exactly. Trueflation, on the other hand, is showing 2% flat now. It's actually minus 0.31% from yesterday. So that is really interesting because it was quite elevated, compared to what it is right now. So that's a good sign. The Fed doesn't use Trueflation, unfortunately, but a lot of people do think that this is the best inflation indicator. Now, if we look at crypto bubbles today, not real good. Unfortunately, we only have a few things here in the green, and WLFI here, this is some new Trump token, guys. I wouldn't buy it if I were you. I'm just going to go ahead and warn you now. Anyways, if you want to stake your coins, guys, you can go to Coinondo. I was looking for some Bioconomy stuff earlier. I am not sure that this is working today again. I did try, for example, some, see, again, IP. I just made a video yesterday about IP, but it's not showing me anything. However, if you go to coins here, you can get a list. Most of the top coins are here. You can still click on it. You just can't search for anything lower than about 101, unfortunately, right now. I'm just not sure what's going on with this website. I do not make this website. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, like, subscribe, activate the bell, share this video with your friends, and guys, I will see you in the next one. I thank you guys for all your support. Thank you.